It's filthy, Al. Don't you want me to lick it clean so we can have sex again?
Launched in 1987, Married with Children completely broke the stereotype of cute and perfect families in sitcoms. The show depicts the daily life full of conflicts and absurdities of the Bundy family in Chicago. From Al Bundy, a disappointed shoe salesman with a glorious past in sports, living with his lazy wife Peggy, to their beautiful but dim-witted daughter Kelly, and ambitious but trouble-prone son Bud. Neighbours Marcy and Steve, later Jefferson, frequently became verbal adversaries with Al, creating endless humorous situations. Behind the scenes, Married with Children hides numerous strange and little-known facts. For example, a housewife named Ricolta once wrote a letter opposing the show just because of a too suggestive bra. Yet this ironically made the series more famous than ever. In fact, every year the cast would send flowers to Mrs. Ricolta as a joke, and because of her, an episode was not aired on Fox for 13 years. Are you curious about other little-known secrets of Married with Children? Let's explore 15 never-before-revealed secrets of this classic series. 15. An episode was permanently banned by Fox. The episode titled I'll See You in Court from Season 3, Episode 10, which first aired on FX on June 18, 2002, was rejected by Fox in 1989 for being too risque and inappropriate for family audiences. In the episode, Al and Peg Bundy were accidentally filmed being intimate in a cheap hotel and decided to sue the hotel for invasion of privacy. This storyline satirized the hotel and media industries. The ban stemmed from a strong protest campaign led by Michigan housewife Terry Ricolta. After watching the episode Her Cups Runneth Over in January 1989, she felt offended by what she deemed inappropriate content for families and began writing letters to advertisers. Her campaign caused major sponsors like Gillette, Warner Lambert, and Coca-Cola to pull their ads, creating significant pressure on Fox. To cope, Fox moved the show's time slot from 8:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. and required the content to be toned down, reducing nudity references in the show. However, banning the episode didn't stop at changing the time slot and content. According to Michael G. Moy, one of the show's creators, Fox made things more difficult for the production team by holding back fan mail and demanding they tone down the show to comply with political correctness. Moy stated that he was still angry at the network for not airing the episode, even though its content was cartoonish and the riskiest dialogue had been softened. This event led to Season 4 being less daring and satirical compared to previous seasons. 14. The show was abruptly cancelled. In 1997, the show ended suddenly after 11 seasons, completely surprising the cast. None of them had been informed in advance about the cancellation. Ed O'Neill, who played Al Bundy, learned the news from a newlywed couple in his hometown who unexpectedly told him the show had been cancelled. He was utterly shocked and had to ask, "What do you mean?" Christina Applegate, who played Kelly Bundy, also did not receive official notice from Fox and only heard it through an acquaintance. This left the cast shocked and unprepared for a proper ending after more than a decade of bonding with their characters and audience. Upon learning the news, Ed O'Neill suggested an idea for the finale. The Bundy family wins the lottery and celebrates, only for a tornado to suddenly appear and destroy everything. However, Fox refused to implement this idea, leaving the show without an official conclusion, much to the disappointment of both the cast and fans. Part of the reason came from pressure from networks holding syndication rights. Once the show reached the necessary number of episodes for reruns, producing additional episodes would increase licensing costs, worrying the networks. Moreover, the production costs of the show increased over time. Specifically, the salaries of main actors such as Ed O'Neill exceeded $500,000 per episode, making the show one of the most expensive on television at the time. Do you feel disappointed that the show ended abruptly? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 13. Ed O'Neill drew inspiration from his high school friends Ed O'Neill, who played Al Bundy, drew inspiration for the character from relatives and high school friends. Specifically, he modelled Al Bundy's personality on an uncle and a rude high school friend. However, when the show first aired in 1987, O'Neill's hometown, Youngstown, Ohio, didn't have a Fox channel, so many of his relatives couldn't watch the show immediately. Nevertheless, Married with Children quickly became a cultural phenomenon. And later, when reruns aired on other channels, O'Neill's friends and family had the chance to watch and recognise the similarities between Al Bundy and people in his real life. The show's success helped O'Neill establish his name and become one of the most famous actors of the 1990s. The show not only reflected traits of O'Neill's real-life acquaintances, but also satirised social issues such as family, work, and intergenerational relationships. Thanks to his nuanced acting and the combination of humour and depth, O'Neill created a memorable Al Bundy character that left a lasting impression on viewers. 12. Katey Sagal didn't have to audition. Few people know that Katey Sagal didn't have to audition to play Peg Bundy. She was chosen immediately because the producers felt she was the perfect fit for the character. At the audition, Sagal appeared with a red bouffant wig, flashy outfit, and confident demeanour, perfectly portraying the lazy, spendthrift housewife image of Peg. Sagal shared that she deliberately created this image so she wouldn't be recognised when joining the show, unsure if it would succeed and not wanting to be permanently associated with Peg in real life. During the first 3 seasons, Sagal styled her own hair, but later, when the show's budget increased, producers decided to invest in a professional wig for her. Sagal recalled realising the show's success when they started spending money on the wig, saying, "Wigs aren't cheap." This wig became an essential part of Peg Bundy's image and was used throughout all 11 seasons of the show. Sagal even kept a wig in her garage as a memorable keepsake from the show's golden era. Are you impressed by this striking red hair? Share your thoughts in the comments. 11. The tension between Al and Marcy was real. The tense relationship between Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy and Amanda Bearse as Marcy Darcy wasn't just dramatic on screen, but also extended off-screen, affecting the atmosphere of the Married with Children cast for years. One notable incident was when Bearse and David Garrison were left off the cover of the July-August 1989 issue of TV Guide, despite it being a major event featuring the main cast. Bearse asked O'Neill to speak up and request their inclusion on the cover, but O'Neill refused, fearing he would lose the opportunity. Later, he admitted that if he could go back, he would have acted differently and regretted not protecting his colleagues. Additionally, Bearse revealed that she didn't invite O'Neill to her wedding, deepening the rift between them. Meanwhile, O'Neill repeatedly mentioned this in interviews, showing he hadn't moved past the conflict. Although neither publicly criticised the other, Bearse's silence and O'Neill's statements indicate the relationship still had unresolved cracks. 10. The strategy of airing 3 times in one night. On April 5, 1987, Fox Broadcasting Company officially entered the prime-time slot of American television with the debut of its first 2 sitcoms, Married with Children and The Tracey Ullman Show. To make a strong impression and attract audience attention, Fox applied a unique strategy, airing the first episode of both shows 3 times consecutively in the same night. The schedule was arranged as follows. At 7:00 p.m, the first episode of Married with Children, followed by the first episode of The Tracey Ullman Show at 7:30, and then both shows were repeated at 8:00 and 9:00 p.m. This was the first time in US television history that a network aired a program 3 times in one night, demonstrating Fox's determination to build its brand and establish a position in the television market. The result was that the 3 times in one night strategy brought positive overall viewership, even though it did not create a huge boost in live ratings. Married with Children achieved a 10.7 rating on its premiere night, while The Tracey Ullman Show scored 9.4. The debut of Married with Children marked a turning point for Fox, becoming a pioneering sitcom for the network's future series. With satirical content about American families and humorous situations, the show quickly gained popularity and ran for 11 seasons 9. The actors playing the children were recast. A major decision was made after filming the pilot on December 12, 1986. Initially, the roles of Kelly and Bud Bundy were given to Tina Kaspari and Hunter Carson. However, upon review, producers noticed a lack of chemistry between these young actors and the main cast, particularly Ed O'Neill. Ultimately, the decision was made to recast after O'Neill expressed concern about the limited interaction with the younger actors. To resolve this, Christina Applegate and David Faustino were chosen to replace Kaspari and Carson. All scenes featuring Kelly and Bud in the original pilot were reshot with the new actors. This decision emphasized the importance of chemistry among cast members to ensure a show's success. Although recasting can complicate production, it proved the right decision as Christina Applegate and David Faustino became beloved familiar faces throughout all 11 seasons of Married with Children. They significantly contributed to the show's success and lasting appeal. Do you like these two characters? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 8. Michael Richards almost played Al before becoming Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld. Michael Richards auditioned for Al Bundy in Married with Children in 1986, about 2 years before the role made him famous. Although he did not get the part, Richards' audition left a strong impression on the producers due to his unique and unconventional acting style, completely different from other candidates. Casting director Mark Hirschfeld once commented, "His audition was very strange. It was a very different kind of reading." During the casting process, many other candidates tried to portray Al Bundy in the style of famous characters, such as Jackie Gleason as Ralph Cramden or Jack Nicholson in The Shining. However, Richards brought a completely new approach, not imitating any style, making him a standout candidate that Hirschfeld remembered. This difference, although not enough to win the role, left a lasting impression on the producers. Not being cast as Al Bundy ultimately opened a big opportunity for Richards later. When the producers of Seinfeld were looking for an actor to play Cosmo Kramer, they remembered Richards' unique style and invited him to join. This role became one of the most memorable in American television history, leaving a deep impression on audiences. 7. The show hurt O'Neill's career for a while. After the huge success of Married with Children, Ed O'Neill faced a major challenge in his film career when he appeared in the war movie Flight of the Intruder, 1991. In the film, O'Neill played a serious Navy captain facing a court-martial, but surprisingly, his appearance on screen made test audiences burst into laughter. According to the Los Angeles Times, the audience laughed every time O'Neill appeared, prompting the producers to replace all his scenes with actor Fred Dalton Thompson. This experience left O'Neill feeling hurt and concerned about the impact of doing a sitcom on his film career. He shared, "This was terrifying. It shows how television can affect you. At the same time, I can't complain about what the show gave me. It's a double-edged sword." Despite the difficult experience, O'Neill recognized the value and influence of playing Al Bundy in his career. 6. Every year, the cast and crew sent flowers to Rakolta. It all started with Rakolta, a housewife from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, who watched the episode, "Her Cups Runneth Over." Rakolta wrote directly to the show's advertisers, asking them to pull their ads from Married with Children. Some major companies, including Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Procter & Gamble, complied, temporarily disrupting the show's ad revenue. She also formed a group called Americans for Responsible Television to continue the campaign against programs she deemed against family values. The cast and crew responded to this campaign with humour and satire. Instead of getting angry, they sent flowers to Rakolta every year when the show was renewed, as a way of thanking her for inadvertently boosting attention and viewership. Katey Sagal, who played Peg Bundy, shared that this campaign helped the show appear on the front page of major newspapers and doubled its audience. Additionally, the show satirized the event in its own content. In the Season 9 episode, No Pot to Peas In, a TV show within the show is cancelled after a Michigan housewife dislikes it. The character Marcy explains, "A housewife in Michigan didn't like it. She also doesn't like football, so football got cancelled too," directly referencing Terry Rakolta and her protest campaign. 5. The show initially envisioned Sam Kinison as Al and Roseanne Barr as Peggy creators. Michael G. Moy and Ron Levitt originally imagined the show with two famous comedians, Sam Kinison and Roseanne Barr. They built the characters Al and Peggy Bundy based on Kinison and Barr's satirical and blunt styles. However, when invited to participate, both declined, citing their focus on film careers and no intention to work in television. Kinison and Barr's managers informed Moy, Levitt, and other producers that their clients were busy filming movies, not television. This made the casting process more challenging, but opened opportunities for other talents. Ultimately, Ed O'Neill and Katey Sagal were cast as Al and Peggy Bundy, creating a harmonious pairing with a unique comedic style for the show. 4. Al Bundy's legendary Polk High shirt is part of his life story. Before becoming the beloved, exhausted shoe salesman on screen, O'Neill was a real football player. He attended Ursuline High School in Youngstown, Ohio, where he excelled at football and received a sports scholarship, later playing at Ohio University and Youngstown State University. In 1969, O'Neill was signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers as an undrafted free agent, but was cut from the team after 2 weeks of training camp. Playing as an outside linebacker, a position he had never played before, proved challenging, ending his professional football career early. Nevertheless, this experience helped him understand the feeling of being a high school hero, something Al Bundy also experienced in the show when mentioning 4 touchdowns in a game. O'Neill's acting career later flourished with the role of Al Bundy, a former high school football player turned frustrated shoe salesman. His character mirrored his real-life experiences, from memories on the field to failures and disappointments in adulthood. The Polk High shirt was therefore not just a prop, but a personal symbol tied to his youth and sports dreams. Beyond acting, O'Neill is passionate about martial arts. After more than 15 years of practice, he earned a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in 2007, demonstrating the perseverance and discipline he developed from his football days. This shows O'Neill is not only a humorous actor on screen, but also a strong and resilient man in real life. 3. Bud Bundy's rap career didn't go well. A lesser-known fact is that David Faustino, famous for playing Bud Bundy in Married with Children, tried his hand at hip-hop music in the early 1990s under the stage name D-Lil. In 1992, he released the album Ballistics, featuring the single I Told Ya, aiming to establish himself beyond his TV role. Not stopping at the album, Faustino co-founded and ran a nightclub called Ballistics on Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. This popular venue hosted hip-hop artists like N.W.A., KRS-One and Above the Law, as well as freestyle battles to discover and launch new talents, including will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas. Through this, Faustino helped bring hip-hop culture closer to Los Angeles fans. Faustino's music career also extended to appearances in other artists' music videos. He appeared in Deuce's Dazzy Dukes in 1993, and KRS-One's MCs Act Like They Don't Know in 1995, showing active participation in contemporary hip-hop culture. Although Faustino's rap career was short-lived and not hugely successful, his efforts were highly valued. They demonstrate that beyond Bud Bundy, Faustino was a passionate artist willing to explore new fields, influencing the early 1990s hip-hop community. Have you ever listened to Bud's music? Share your thoughts in the comments. 2. Failed spin-offs. The show inspired several spin-offs, but none succeeded. One of the first was Top of the Heap, launched in 1991. The original episode in Season 5 of Married with Children introduced Vinny Verducci and his father, Charlie Verducci, who always sought to get rich quickly. Based on positive audience reactions, Fox developed a 6-episode series. However, it failed and was quickly cancelled. Later, another version titled Vinny and Bobby aired in 1992, but lasted only 7 episodes before cancellation, showing the difficulties in expanding the Married with Children universe. Another spin-off was Radio Free Tremaine, introduced in Season 9. The episode followed Steve Rhodes, who unexpectedly becomes the principal of Tremaine University, causing trouble by expelling some DJs. The episode featured Kerry Russell and was considered a pilot for a new series. However, Fox decided not to continue production, resulting in failure at the testing stage. A third spin-off, the episode Enemies in Season 10, was designed as a counterpart to Friends, starring Nicole Eggert and focusing on a group of friends living together. Fox experimented, but ultimately refused to produce the series, again reflecting the risks of expanding spin-offs from a successful sitcom. 1. The original title was Not the Cosbys. Initially, the series Married, Tall, with Children was intended to be called Not the Cosbys, directly contrasting ideal family sitcoms like The Cosby Show, popular in the 1980s. This idea aimed to emphasize difference, creating an image of a chaotic, conflict-filled, and humorous family. However, Fox producers considered the name too direct, potentially offensive, and likely to spark unnecessary controversy, so they decided to find a more suitable title. After consideration, the name Married with Children was chosen. The new title was short, memorable, and clearly reflected the Bundy family's conflicting and humorous nature. It also maintained the show's spirit of challenging television norms without directly targeting any specific program. This was a key move for Fox in establishing the identity of its first primetime sitcom. The new title was not only symbolic, but also became part of Fox's bad boy branding strategy. Married with Children quickly gained fame for addressing sensitive topics, crude humor, and sarcasm that other sitcoms rarely dared to touch. This boldness helped the show stand out among perfect family sitcoms, leaving a special mark on viewers. The 15 facts about Married with Children show that it is not only a funny sitcom about a chaotic family, but also a symbol of boldness and uniqueness in American TV history. From creating Fox's bad boy brand, exploring sensitive topics, to shaping conflicted and humorous characters, the show left a lasting impact on audiences and the entertainment industry. Behind-the-scenes stories contributed to making the Bundy world both real and hilariously unforgettable. Which fact about Married with Children do you like the most? Is it the backstage conflict between Al and Marcy, or the bold moments that built Fox's bad boy reputation? Share your opinion and don't forget to like and subscribe to explore more interesting secrets of classic TV shows.